Hi. Hola.
Hi, here's Mr. Dösel.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas A16 Plus PureControl in the latest Viper Pack colorway. Now included with the shoes inside the box is a couple different extras. The first thing you get is this shoe horn that basically just makes it a little bit easier to put the shoes on. You don't have to use it, but like I said, it does make things a little bit easier. You also get an extra set of comfort insoles to go along with the lightweight ones already inside of the shoes, and of course you get a string bag that is a black perforated mesh material with black strings, then has the Adidas and Ace logos there on the front. Other than that, you do of course get the shoes themselves, which I have right here in this very, very distinctive kind of Viper print across the entire upper and sole plate with this very unique vapor green color as well. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. It's kind of an unusual color. It may look more gray in the video than green. I'll try to adjust that to make it as accurate as possible. But nonetheless, this is the shoe, and in today's video we are going to take a detailed look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk tech specs, performance, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more about the Viper Pack PureControl, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can go ahead and check out the review page on my website. You can access that page by either clicking the little pop-up on screen or clicking the very first link down below in the description. And on that page you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. So again, if you're interested, click the little pop-up on screen or the first link down below. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. Starting off with the colorway, this is of course part of the Viper Pack, which I think is a pretty suitable name given the look of the shoe itself. You're gonna have the print of a viper, which I believe is a snake. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And it features a combination of black and a color called vapor green, which I think the best way to describe is kind of the color of cash or money. It's that shade of green, kind of like a really, really dull kind of olive color, if that makes any sense. And you have that throughout the entire upper, both within the actual print itself, as well as the exposed prime knit areas across the top of the foot and at the prime cut collar. And then of course, black details in the actual pull tabs, the non-stop grip, the Adidas stripes on the side, the pull tab down the back, and then the studs themselves are translucent but have kind of like a darker tint to them, if that makes any sense. But nonetheless, this looks very interesting. It immediately reminded me of the limited edition Deadly Focus pack that we saw from Adidas not too long ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen to my video on the Ace 16.1 in the Deadly Focus pack. But it's cool this time around in that it does have that green color. I think it has more of a snake-like look to it. Still don't know what to think of it. It's not really gonna match anything, but nonetheless, I think if you're interested in a colorway like this, you're probably looking to stand out anyways, and this is going to do that for you quite well. The pattern itself is not random, for those that are wondering. It's the same on both shoes, so that's something I was a little bit disappointed about. I always like it when the pattern itself is completely random and no shoe is the same, but what's cool as well is that they did kind of continue the pattern itself onto the sole plate. It doesn't actually line up. But still very, very cool, and it does come with a little warning sticker letting you know that the actual printing itself will wear off over time, so just keep that in mind. This pattern on the sole plate will start to kind of chip away the more and more that you wear the shoes. So overall, very interesting colorway. I don't think they look bad, although I don't necessarily think that this is something that I would personally choose to wear. Let me know what you guys think of it though down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. From a performance standpoint, the laceless PureControl is a shoe that I'm personally not too crazy about. I know a lot of people have picked these up since they first came out, and they really do like them. Some people have had negative experiences, kind of like me, but it's one of those shoes that, considering that it is at the $300 price point, which is the highest retail price of any shoe right now, it's on par with just about anything, meaning that if you have $300 to spend, you can literally buy any shoe on the market right now, high end or low end. So the PureControl, it's one of those shoes that you have to really want this shoe specifically, as opposed to maybe considering other shoes that are a little bit of a safer bet. Because this is, I guess the best way to put it, not all that safe of a bet, especially if you're buying these online because of this laceless system. And I'll explain in the video. Now, I'm going to cover as many details and little quirks about this shoe that I can in this particular video while keeping it relatively short. I know my videos aren't short, but it's not going to be 25 minutes long. Nonetheless, if you guys do want all the details, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen to my playtest video where I do talk for a long time and explain every single little quirk about this shoe and my general experience with it that I think is very important to know if you were considering these as your next pair of shoes and you were looking to spend $300 on them. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't seen it already. Now with this shoe, you're getting a prime knit upper, which is a fully knitted material, but it is of course reinforced, and that's something that's a little bit deceptive just based on how it looks. Obviously in this colorway, and that it does have the polyurethane covering for the prime knit in a solid color, you don't get to actually see the knitted material that well or the texturing, but it is in fact there. But it doesn't necessarily have that soft kind of sock-like sensation that you would expect from other knitted shoes on the market, most notably the Adidas A16.1 Prime Knit, which I think is a much better example of how good a prime knit shoe can actually be. This is prime knit with an internal synthetic leather layer that takes away pretty much all the soft sensation of the prime knit itself in terms of what you feel against your foot. And then you have added overlays in the form of the Adidas stripes here that are basically like a TPU plastic material that are all there for structural reasons because you don't have laces. If there's no laces across the top, you have to add structure everywhere else, which is what they did. So this upper, despite being knitted, has a very kind of firm, almost hard sensation to it. The only comparison I can draw is that of the original Hypervenom Phantom 2 and Hypervenom Finish models before they recently made the switch, because a lot of people didn't like how stiff that upper was. This is kind of along the lines of that shoe in terms of what it reminds me of, at least. The actual finish on the surface, it does have the non-stop grip dots, which is kind of Adidas's wet control element. Again, not one of those things that I think is particularly noticeable, not a make or break feature by any means. And the actual touch on the ball itself, it's fairly firm. It's not very thin. It has some decent thickness to it just because there are so many different layers of material, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's bad. It feels very good. But again, eliminating laces does not improve your touch on the ball whatsoever. It is more soft and more padded across the top. And if anything, this area does feel a little bit slick to me just because it is a completely different finish than the rest of the upper. Now obviously the laceless system, that's the main reason why you're going to buy these. So what you have is 2 layers of elasticated prime knit. This first layer that you actually see right here, and then internally there's kind of a sock tech fit boot that runs across the foot like this and wraps it. So you slide your foot inside, that internal sock is going to stretch, this top part's going to stretch, and then once your foot's fully in there, it's going to kind of compress and hold your foot in place to a certain extent. What's impressive about this design is that when you put your foot inside, it does feel pretty good. It feels relatively secure from when you're standing there. Once you start running around though, you'll definitely notice that the sides of the shoe are fairly stiff. That's really where you're going to find the majority of the structure in the upper. And the heel, while your heel won't necessarily slip, it wants to slip very badly because there's nothing pushing your heel down into the base of the shoe because there aren't any laces. So I found at least that there is kind of a constant pressure in the heel area that was a little bit uncomfortable, not necessarily something that ever went away, not necessarily something that's going to cause you blisters, but it was uncomfortable and something that I found very, very annoying with this particular shoe. The main issue that I had though was not so much the lockdown from a lateral standpoint. You can run in these shoes as long as they fit you properly, making quick cuts and changes of direction feels perfectly fine. But when you're planting to shoot the ball or just stopping really quickly, I really found that my foot, because nothing's pushing it into the base of the sole, really wanted to come up, and this part just stretches. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no way to adjust that. It's just that because of this laceless system, in order to get your foot in and out, they had to add stretchiness across the top of the foot, which, like I said, does have its downsides in terms of just overall lockdown and general security during certain movements. And this is something that I do explain in that playtest video in a little bit better detail. You do have the prime cut collar here, which is, I guess, somewhat of a mid-cut aspect or somewhat of a mid-cut design. This is basically just an extension piece. It doesn't even wrap your ankle closely like you'll find from the Nike mid-cut models. It's basically just there for the sake of looks, not something you notice whatsoever when you're actually playing in the shoe. Internally, you do have a kind of synthetic suede liner that does have more of a firmness to it, but again, it kind of has to be firmer in order to hold your heel in place, and it does have a firmer sensation when you're actually using them. Inside, the insole is fully removable. This is the lightweight one. They do include the comfort one as well if you want something a little bit more significant in terms of padding. This one though, mesh liner on top, perforations throughout the first, I guess, front half or front 2/3 of the insole, and then it's just a single layer of this black foam. Nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then moving on to the bottom of the shoe, you do have an external heel counter here, which is part of the sprint frame construction, one piece with the sole plate, kind of reverting back to what Adidas originally started in 2010, very similar to that initial F50 Adizero design-wise here. And it's partially why the shoe is lighter than you might expect it to be. Nonetheless, the sole plate is a TPU plastic, has some decent flexibility to it, and does feel solid on this particular platform. And then the stud pattern, this is their Ground Control 2.0 stud pattern, which it's hard to say that this is all new. This is, again, kind of the same stud pattern we've been seeing from Adidas for quite some time now. Same exact layout, all conical studs. It is technically FGAG, so it's safe to use on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass, although I definitely will say that this is more of a firm ground stud pattern than it is a true AG stud pattern. So just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, if you only want to buy one pair of shoes for both firm natural grass and artificial grass, you can get away with pretty much all of the Adidas models outside of the Gloro and the Copa, because everything else, the X, the Ace, and the Messi lines are all FGAG. In terms of weight, the PureControl is a relatively lightweight shoe, and just to give you guys an idea of how light, I'm going to weigh them for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind that this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.05 ounces, the equivalent of 228 grams. So right at the 8-ounce mark, which is not as light as you'll find from a lot of shoes, especially in this particular price range, but still light enough. They're definitely not going to feel heavy on your feet. They just don't necessarily have that weightless sensation. Nonetheless, if you are looking at this shoe, you're probably mostly interested in the laceless system anyway, and not too concerned about the weight, but just know that it definitely isn't going to feel heavy on your feet. All right, so here is a look at the PureControls on feet. And this is really one of those shoes that you have to try on for yourself to truly understand how they feel, and really to be able to understand whether or not this shoe is going to fit you the way you expect it to, because that's the thing here with a laceless system. You're gonna have a certain expectation in your head, and then once you put them on, if it meets that expectation, give them a go. Otherwise, if they don't really feel the way you were hoping they would, it's probably best to return them, exchange them, and go for something else, just because there is no adjustability, and that's kind of the key word here with any laceless system. Once you put them on your feet, that's the way they'll fit, that's the way they'll feel for the rest of their lifespan. You can't make them tighter, you can't make them looser. You're not really gonna change the shape of the shoe. Yes, it's a knitted upper, but like I said, there's a lot of synthetic lining the inside of the shoe, and especially here where you have these Adidas stripes, it's got a very firm feel to it. There's not a lot of movement to the sides of the upper, so stretching is not something that's necessarily going to happen. Lockdown in the heel is okay given that there aren't any laces, but there's nothing really forcing your heel, or your foot for that matter, down into the base of the sole plate. So while your heel's not slipping, there's a lot of pressure in the actual heel area, kind of holding your heel in place. That can be a little bit uncomfortable. At least that's something that I found. As far as width is concerned, the shoe is not overly narrow, they're not super wide either, but again, because of this laceless system, depending on the specific shape of your foot, it's kind of gonna feel a little bit different for everybody. So again, if you do order a pair, try them on. If you like how they feel, give them a go. If you don't like how they feel, again, I'd probably return them and exchange them for something else. As far as sizing is concerned, another issue with the laceless system, it's really important that you get the proper size. This is not a pair of shoes that you want to buy with a lot of extra space, just because if there is too much extra space, you're not going to get sufficient lockdown. So these do run true to size. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would recommend going true to size. And again, if you're looking to order them, it's very important that you get the proper size. Do not buy these with a lot of extra growing room. All right, guys, that's it for my review of the Viper Pack Adidas A16 Plus PureControl. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. You can access that page by either clicking the little eye on screen, or it'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. And of course, on that page, you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below the normal $300 retail price. If you have any questions at all regarding the PureControl, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.